Good afternoon. This is
Thank you.
okay. Good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. It is 2:02 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. Vice Chair Ty Menser is to my right. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards, as well as Commissioner Emily Klaus. And today we'll start our meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Vice Chair Menser.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, Vice Chair Menser, would you like to do a land acknowledgement, sir?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would also like to start today's meeting with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial and who still inhabit the area today. Specifically, the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the Tuesday, November 28th, 2023 agenda. Is there an item commissioners would like to remove at this time? There was one change in the agenda. We removed an item in terms of Sierra Cedar. I'm going to pass it to the interim county manager to review that.
Thank you, Commissioner. So actually, there were 3 changes on the agenda that you reviewed this morning. The first was the numbering or lettering of the items on the consent agenda. The Commissioner's Office item regarding the Sierra Cedar item was removed to a future agenda, and the dates were corrected on the public health amendment to the consolidated contract. So all of those changes appear on your agenda.
I move to approve the proposed agenda for Tuesday, November 28th with the 3 identified changes from this morning's agenda as laid out by the interim county manager.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. The agenda is now approved. We have a presentation today. This has been a long time coming. It's the Thurston County Racial Equity Action Plan. We have D.V. Ogden, Racial Equity Program Manager, who will introduce and present this item.
Thank you for having me. So my name is D.V. Ogden. I am the Thurston County Racial Equity Program Manager, and I'm very excited to be here to present to you all and for you to vote on later. I want to start by saying thank you to the members of our Racial Equity Council, both our current members and our new members that the commissioners just appointed. We have some watching virtually and in person with us. They have committed to supporting the efforts of the county and supporting the work that I will be doing in my role. The council was formed about a year ago, and the members have been eager to provide advocacy and guidance to the board on this work. So I'm grateful for them for sticking with us and helping me get here. I also want to take a moment and express my gratitude to both our residents and our community organizations. We have some members from the League of Women Voters and from the Thurston County Equity Coalition. As I've been learning more about the county and getting involved, I've heard similar sentiments that everyone's very eager to see how the county moves forward with this work. So I'm excited about that. The full plan will be shared online. So today I'm just giving a very high level overview of what is included in the plan. And then folks can reach out to me after for more information if needed. So within the plan, I've outlined what each phase looks like, as the county progresses over the next few years. Right now, we are in phase 1, which is just diagnosis phase. We're in a space where we recognize that our policies and practices really don't serve the intersectionality of our community members. And so phase 1 of this plan lays a foundation on understanding equity, understanding racism, discrimination, and the inequities and barriers that exist in governance, and how we can work to identify those barriers and build trust between our government and our community members to effectively make change. There are 3 goals outlined in this plan, and then within each goal, there's a number of strategies and so on. So the first goal focuses on establishing that foundation of understanding equity across the county, and embedding concepts of diversity, equity, and inclusion within our employee experience and our culture. We want to increase awareness and comprehension of racism and inequities, and really develop a culture where everyone who works for the county, is in the county, and all of our residents and community members can experience respect and dignity in their lives. The second goal focuses on developing an internal culture in which employees can ensure that decisions, policies, and procedures are informed by data and centered around our values within the county and within the community. Understanding that some of our policies and practices have been around for decades, I think we need to go through a bit of a review process to ensure that we are regularly considering equity as we respond to events and evaluate our services and programs. The third goal focuses on establishing a community-based approach in which our government has regular communication and engagement with our community members. Our Racial Equity Council is made up of our community members, and I think that they will serve a vital role in bridging that gap between county leadership and our communities to making sure that we are hearing the perspectives and gaining the support of our members as we do this work. So I want to talk briefly about the performance measures and what accountability looks like. This is a snapshot of what folks can see within the plan. Each strategy has an associated set of performance measures that will help us really remain accountable to the work that we're doing, and also help identify where we're being successful and where we're experiencing challenges that we'll need to navigate. The Racial Equity Council and I decided that it was valuable to include performance measures just to, again, be transparent to everyone that is going to help with this work and be involved, and just to understand what we're doing and how we're doing things. One of the strategies is to establish equity leads. And so as far as accountability and reporting out to you all, I will be regularly meeting with our county equity leads to receive report outs from what the departments and offices are doing, to compile that information and to share with you twice a year in an official capacity, and all of that will be available to the public as well. I also plan on working with the Racial Equity Council to develop a series of communications that can go out to the community, just to, again, be transparent and have ongoing conversation on what I'm doing in my role, what we're doing as a county, and to elicit feedback from our community members and residents. I want to emphasize that this plan is a living document. It is subject to change as we respond to your priorities, the priorities and feedback of community members, and obviously availability of resources and funding. So I would imagine, we get through the first year, see how things go, and then continue engaging with community members and update the plan as necessary. So the plan is based on a calendar year, so you'll vote on it today, and it will go into effect starting January. But I've already started working on the strategies and goals. So these are just the immediate next steps that folks can expect from me in my role. And so one of them I mentioned is that the county is establishing equity leads, and I've got 100% participation already from our departments, and our offices are also on board getting their equity leads in place. So I will be setting up those meetings and getting those folks settled into their new roles. I also will be updating our public webpage just to, again, put information out there so that anyone who has questions can reach out to me or visit our public-facing webpage for information. I also, again, will be welcoming our new members to the Racial Equity Council, so I'll be helping to get them onboarded and situated. There's a lot of projects that we've identified, so we'll sort through those to figure out what our first steps are and how we engage the community. And then as I'm still new to Thurston and settling in, obviously I'm still connecting with our community organizations and our neighboring jurisdictions just to get more familiar with what's happening in the county and around the county, and just to settle in and build those relationships and partnerships. So those are my next steps, and I left my contact information in case anyone wants to reach out to me. I will be available. With that, I welcome any questions or comments.
Thank you, Davy. I know we have members of the council present today. I want to give them the opportunity to say a couple of things if they would like, or not to put anyone on the spot.
And there's some virtually as well in case they want to chime in too. So.
Yes, please.
Hello, good afternoon. Evelyn Clark. I've been a member since the beginning. I haven't actually been involved in this plan just because due to scheduling and we haven't been able to get payment yet, and I'm gonna kind of stick to my advocacy in that. And so I did see that there are gonna be equity leads in each department of the county. I would request that they identify as BIPOC staff, just because if you want to do racial equity work, anti-racism work, it should be led by someone who identifies as BIPOC. That's really important because you can't have somebody who's part of the power dynamic to do racial equity work as a lead. So I think that's what I have. I think it has been very rough as we've been through transition, as you know, we haven't been able to, well, at least myself, been given my full expertise in the plans just because of, you know, things that have happened. And I don't think that it should be, that should fall on us members because we had, you know, we had some issues. I mean, media came out and we were lied to by the last program manager, and things were not as professional as they should have been and communicated with all of us. So I hope that we can move forward. I hope that our voices can be heard. I hope that when we do talk about real racial equity issues, when it comes to racism, the racism that's embedded within the county itself, that there's no pushback and that we can definitely continue the work. I really felt that's what happened with the last position, that we were starting to talk about those things and then all of a sudden someone gets fired from their position, and now we have somebody new who is not familiar with Thurston County, and sometimes that feels like it's intentional and to get away from the actual problem. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, and I hope that our new members can also stick to what real racial equity is as well. So thank you.
How's everybody doing? I just want to echo some of the things that Evelyn had shared. My name is Jason Clark. I'm also a member from the beginning. No relation, but definitely committed to the same body of work as Mrs. Clark, who just spoke. Having worked in government in an equity position, I realized professionally, right, and for the sake of like advancing this work in our communities, that racial equity, when declared as a public health crisis, can't be managed by one program manager. I think the imperative that Evelyn brought up is that as we're advancing this issue, I'm looking around at the people from the county, and I see a disproportionate number of BIPOC leaders here, right, representative of the county. And I think advancing this work oftentimes will feel like a personal attack because it's something that hasn't been done before. So I too would like to advocate for those equity leads in departments to be people who identify as BIPOC people, who have experience, right, in understanding what it's like to experience racism. It's hard to describe something that you can't identify with. I wouldn't advocate for an issue that wasn't specific to the community or the background of me as a person. So I would like to advocate for that and say, this is definitely a heavy lift. And I'm hopeful as we advance forward, right, that we start to think about what it does look like to invite different BIPOC community members into these conversations. I see it's a part of the plan, but I know it's not something that we've been able to practice thus far. Just reminding folks that there's a lot of different people in our communities that I think will have a huge opportunity to share their experiences and help us to shape what happens with this proclamation moving forward and the work. Oftentimes in government, we can create these statements that don't translate to action steps. And I just want to share, the way that I'm approaching this work is to be a committed community member of Thurston County that's helping to advance those action steps and working closely with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. There's some on Zoom. I can't really, I'm so sorry. I'm really blind and I cannot see the names on the Zoom. I see your faces, but so go ahead and speak. I know it's. Is that
Good
Dr.
afternoon,
Jackson?
Commissioners.
Yeah, okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
good afternoon, Commissioners, and please excuse my tardiness. I'm hopping from one meeting to a very important one here, but I want to thank you all for your time and attention today. And as my colleague was mentioning, what is before you is a wonderful opportunity to continue to move forward with the work that has been outlined in the resolutions thus far. And in addition to expand upon the community voice and participation and as us coming together as residents of Thurston County to be a collective that drives this work forward. I'm really delighted to join my neighbors and fellow Thurston County residents in taking up and providing as much insight as we're able to, and delighted to lean into that together. And I also want to speak to the ways in which that genuity is present here in terms of our growing membership, and also in coming to understand what a vision enacted in operation could look like to make Thurston County the greatest county to live in, to work in, and to play in here in the great state of Washington. So I'm very glad to be here, and that also means glad to bring my voice in speaking to the experiences of being a Black trans man here in Thurston County, here in my home, and also to one who is dedicated to having those experiences give detailed insight as to expanding what racial equity could look like and how it drives all the positivity that Thurston County has to offer. So thank you very much for allowing us to be here, allowing me to be here. And again, I apologize for my tardiness. It was not intended, nor is how I wanted to show up today. Thank you.
Thank you. And do we have anyone else? I can't really see the screen. I apologize.
Hello, hi. My name is Kamala Keys Brown. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I'm one of the newest members, so I'm really happy to have this opportunity to join the council and be able to lend my expertise as an Afro-Latina woman. I think it's extremely important that the work that we are going to be doing is going to be authentic and it's going to be mandated through action. I think it's very simple and very easy to live in an environment right now where diversity, equity, inclusion, and a sense of belonging is echoed everywhere, but then there is a lack of energy as time goes on. And I think that my goal is to try to keep that energy energized because I don't get to be tired as a Black woman. Every day I leave out of my home, I will be seen as a Black woman. Little do they know that I'm also Afro-Latina as well, right? So I think that I want to make sure that I'm creating a safe and inclusive space for people to be more than one thing and be several things at the same time and embrace all versions of ourselves. So I want to make sure that I am lending my voice and creating that space of diversity, equity, and inclusion through truth and narrative. No one is ever going to have my lived experience, as well as I will never have any of your lived experiences. But we can learn from one another. And if we are really truly here to do the work and really put in the energy of creating a safe space in Thurston County, I'm here for it. But I do want to make sure and be really, really clear that I have expectations. I have expectations, and I'm quite sure you all will have expectations of this council. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be uncomfortable conversations to be said, but the same way you don't probably want to hear somebody's narratives, imagine living it. So my goal is to definitely be a part of this council and bring forward truth and elevate community voice. My background is public policy and analysis, so I'm always looking and dissecting things extremely, extremely close. Definitely critical thinking and analyzing. So I hope that my expertise is going to be fully utilized here on the council. So I thank you for this time and this opportunity, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. Okay, is that all of our council members? And then we have some guests from the League of Women Voters, and I'll have Devi introduce them, and then we'll.
So with us, we have Angela, Carol, and then if anyone else wants to hop on to say a few words, feel free. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to thank you, Emily, Gary, Carolina, Ty. I want to thank you for giving us space to have this conversation. I'm representing the League of Women Voters right now because we are having this tough conversation. I almost feel like diversity and equity and inclusion is somehow turned into a negative. I don't want it to be a negative. I want it to be a positive because there's a difference between fitting in and belonging. Do we truly feel like we belong in Thurston County? Do we feel like we're welcomed in Thurston County? When it comes to intersectionality, I'm a Black woman, I'm a female veteran. There's so many things that, that I worry about in our community. And I feel like it's a negative. Please don't let it be a negative. It's an uncomfortable conversation to have. It's a difficult conversation to have. When the League of Women Voters called me, they said, Angela, I want you to share your experience on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I shared it with them. And now we're going to bring that work forward because they see the importance of people who look like me to be represented, to truly feel like we are welcomed. And we have some work to do. And it takes courage. It takes us Republicans and Democrats to talk about it because we want to feel loved. We want to feel like we belong. So thank you for having the courage to, this is a challenging conversation. This is a challenging time for us. And I encourage you and I thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Tracy Brown.
Okay.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, my name is Tracy Brown. I'm a resident of Thurston County. I'm not an employee of Thurston County, but through my role at Providence St. Peter Hospital, I am a member of our Equity Coalition of Thurston County, and I'm grateful for the things said previously, and there was attention given to having BIPOC folks be represented not only in county leadership but as leads. And thank you, Dr. Jackson, for sharing yourself with us. My only additional suggestion would be that we make sure to think about those folks in our SOGI population, those who have a sexual orientation that is different, and or those that have gender identities that are different than the major populace. And so I'm well aware within my role here that those folks are often forgotten And I just want to make sure that we make space for them as we make space for other folks as we move forward. So thanks for letting me share.
Thank you. Okay. DV, anything else you'd like to close? Okay, so I'll pass it to commissioners to see before we move forward with an action. Commissioner Klaus?
I do have some comments. First, I just wanted to thank both DV and everybody who spoke today, as well as members of the council who are not present today. I know that a lot of work has gone into this, and this is important work. It's extremely crucial to the well-being of our community. Some of the statements we heard touched on the public health crisis, and I do agree, if we are going to declare racial equity as a public health crisis, we need to ensure that our actions align with what we're saying. So I just wanted to briefly say thank you, and I look forward to this plan being approved at some point, maybe today. And I also look forward to collaboratively working with you all to ensure that the current version of the plan is properly implemented, as well as adjusted to be even more significantly implemented in the future. I think this is a great starting point, and I look forward to seeing how we can grow this initiative further in the future.
Commissioner Edwards?
Welcome aboard. I'll just keep it at that. We've got enough people talking, so good to see you all here today.
Commissioner Menser?
Can I ask DV a question?
Yes, go ahead.
We didn't get the question. So I'm curious on your next step slide, you had reference to countywide assessment. Is that when before you were here and we were working on this in the early point, we were looking at external agencies to help us with that kind of assessment? Is that the direction you're looking at, or is this going to be more of an internal effort? What does that look like? Or is that still to be determined?
It's still to be determined. I really want to get together with the equity leads, since they have perspective from each of the departments and offices, to see if it makes sense to build that assessment in-house or to go externally. But it does depend on availability of resources and funding and what it would cost to go externally.
Okay, thank you. Just as a comment, I just want to thank the members of the council for being here today, for participating, for the input we've already gotten. Whether it's respect to the plan, we already got some input during the budget debate about stipends, which was really valuable. So thank you for all of that. I think everyone in the public can see the quality of folks that we have on the council, and I'm really excited about the folks that are coming on board as well. It's been mentioned a couple of times, but the fact that this is a living document that is going to be something that we continue to get input from the council members on, I think is really important, and I'm excited about that component of it. So thank you for helping us engage on this journey.
Thank you. I guess from my point, thank you for being here today. Thank you for joining us also via Zoom. Really, when this was brought back for us to declare this 3 years ago, I was hesitant because I didn't want something that was going to be demonstrative. As a woman of color myself, I've seen many actions that are demonstrative and yet never really come to fruition. And so I was a huge advocate for the racial equity plan. I'm understanding this is a living document. I think it is a good way to move forward. I'm in agreement in terms of the equity leads, such as Mrs. Clark mentioned, or Ms. Clark? Mrs., I apologize. Mrs. Clark mentioned in terms of the equity leads being, identifying as BIPOC as well. And I really do want to thank the council. I know there's been a lot of hoops you've had to jump through, but many of you have started from the very beginning on this process. Thank you for hanging on with us as we go through the process, because you're absolutely right. Racial equity, they're very hard conversations to have. They're very uncomfortable. And as we, as a county, we're even learning how to set up a council like this what was needed. And even still, we're learning the stipends. There's probably going to be other things that come up, but I hope that we continue to be engaged in these conversations, no matter how uncomfortable they get, because I feel like this is really what will put this action plan in place and what will make it move forward, starting internally and then moving externally. And so I just really want to thank all of you for your hard work, Devi. I know you've come in and kind of put this together, and really thankful for this, because at least it gives us a starting point to really move forward. It gives the community a starting point as well, and in a way to hold us accountable, because I feel like this is what this document does. It starts creating these measures to hold us accountable and make sure that we're doing what we're setting out to do, which was the reason why we passed that resolution in the first place. So, okay. With that, we do have an action to adopt this plan. Is there, are commissioners ready to move forward with this?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to approve and adopt the Thurston County Racial Equity Plan to serve as a guideline in the county's efforts to identify and mitigate inequities and disparities in county government and the broader community.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Minzer? Aye. Commissioner McHale?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can the members, would people be comfortable with a picture, since I think this is a pretty special moment?
Can I get close?
Of course. Three, two, one. One more. Three, two, one. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. My vote.
Sorry Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So that will conclude our presentation for today. Next is an opportunity for the public to address the board. The Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. The general speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those members in the boardroom. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW. No remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal. Thank you for your cooperation. I will start with members who have signed up. If you do not get an opportunity to sign up, I will give you that opportunity, and then we will move on to Zoom and allow those members of the public who have joined us via Zoom to make public comment. We will start with the first person on the list. It's John Pettit. You have 4 minutes.
I suppose it's on. My name's John Pettit. I live in East Olympia. I have a couple of different things I want to talk about. I'm immediately disappointed that I asked the interim county manager. Apparently, there's an item here for a code change to align the capital improvement plan. The only thing the public's ever heard is that there's a plan A or a plan B, but we're not allowed to know which one you're even considering adopting right now. Seems very inappropriate since this is part of the public disclosure that's supposed to happen. Nothing unusual though, wanting to go around the process. And I would suggest, once again, this is outside the compliance of what the county code actually says. But, and it also seems odd that you even need to push this agenda so strong unless there's already a plan for something to occur. We've gone years and years and years and not had a problem, and suddenly there's an emergent need to be passing an amendment to the comp plan without due process. Seems appropriate that you should put it aside. I also took note earlier from watching some of the earlier session regarding the acceptance of the comp plan for some of the Lacey sub-area plans, et cetera. There was a request by the new commissioner that they would like to have time, move things out to the 12th in order to have an opportunity to be able to make good informed decisions. But apparently the context is, no, it's more important you just do what we tell you and you vote for it, or no. I think it's totally inappropriate to be pushing the envelope on people. They have to make decisions when they get appointed, officially appointed minutes ago, and now they're supposed to make a decision on something that has volumes of material. It seems business as usual. Now, the topic that I'm going to talk about briefly here is because we're going to be going into the budget this next week. And I've sent you all some different information. I hope that the new commissioner, she's also received it. But my topic is basically to talk about what I call the color of money. Color of money. You see, when money's taken away from the taxpayers, there's general fund money, which can be used for any purpose. But then all these other taxes all have purpose. Maybe this one over here is real estate excise tax. It has a very specific purpose. You can't just make a operating transfer, which I have found to be the new way to try to circumvent making that money that was collected for this purpose used for that purpose. Park impact fees has to be used for park impact, not maintenance and operations. That's against the law and the code. I could go on and on. Each tax has a specific purpose that it's to be collected for and used for. You need to eliminate these backdoor process of operating transfers to suddenly take, and I'll use the example of REIT again. It's been a big topic for me for a long time, that somebody has made it. It doesn't show up that you guys ever approved an operating transfer from REIT to make bond payments, but somebody has done it and then used it for other than making actual capital improvements. I'm going to ask you to make sure you take a close look at that, look at my letter, and remember, we all have to follow the laws. That includes the commissioners in the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Eleanor Walters. Okay. Next is Vivian Eason. You have 4 minutes.
Are we ready? So this document was sent to me. I'm Vivian Easton. I live in Rochester, Washington, and I am a 35-year past employee, retired from Thurston County. I'm a 31-year retired disabled veteran, and I would hope to see eventually the plan that you guys just approved be broadened out to include a lot of different people that are left out in the community, including disabled veterans, homeless veterans, and other people like South County. And so this this document was sent to me, and as you know, I ran for election. I lost my election this year, and it was pretty nasty. I was attacked by email, by text, by phone. You know, my credibility was questioned. I'm very high integrity. I try to live by Army values. I'm a Christian. And but the thing that bothered me the most was when something came out signed by 2 county commissioners, which in my opinion is a violation of the Open Public Meeting Act. And so that's why I'm here today, is to talk about that. I think the county commissioners need to have a policy on their engagement during campaigns, especially when at least one of them sits on the canvassing board and is a part of the elections and the processes. I found it an attack, a personal attack on me, and it was not truthful. And I know they were portraying 2 different people. Both of us are disabled veterans that they were attacking in this letter. And so I would like to bring this to the attention of the county so that some policies can be set in place, and that also some policies can be set in place on donations in elections from large-scale contractors for Thurston County, such as Republic. Republic was donating in this last election and the past election. So those are just ideas. I'm not here to talk about the election because we know elections and it got nasty, and I just had to consider the source. And so, but this was especially hurtful to me. It was 2 county commissioners that I've worked for, and you guys know me, and I've never verbally attacked anyone. And that's what you're saying in this letter. And so this was brought to your attention by somebody else, but I wanted to come and talk on my own. And if you want to have a meeting to talk about it or something, I do expect an apology. And I think that there needs to be a change in policy on how this can be handled. In the past, 2 county commissioners signing as county commissioners and talking about the commission in a letter that is clearly a violation of a Open Public Meeting Act. So that's all I had today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Amanda Ibarra. Okay. That will conclude the people who have signed up on the sign-up sheet. Is there anyone here present who would like to provide public testimony? Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Rita Robison. I live in Tumwater, Washington. I'm here because I want to congratulate the commissioners and the county for the expansion in the size of the county commission. I'm one of the people who worked very hard to get the council manager plan adopt for the city of Olympia. And so I've been a longtime member of the League of Women Voters. We study governmental structure. This is an improvement in the county's governmental structure. And I think it's a wonderful day. There should be lots of people here celebrating. So anyway, I came to celebrate and take your photo, and again to congratulate the county and the Board of Commissioners for expanding its size. It will lead to better representation for the citizens of Thurston County. It's a great day.
Thank you. Anyone else in the boardroom? Mr. Trowbridge, go ahead.
So I would like to speak with Commissioner Minzer, and if you'll agree to meet with me in the near future, I'll sit back down.
Absolutely. I told you that at the last meeting.
Can't hear you.
Yes, sir.
You will? Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll sit back down.
Okay, anyone else in the boardroom who would like to provide public comment? Okay, we'll move on to Zoom.
Thank you, Commissioner. I will call the names on my screen who I do not recognize as county employees. And the first is Madeline Bishop. Ms. Bishop, would you like to?
Oh, oops. Oh, no, thank you. I just wanted to watch today, and you're doing just a great job, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Next, Colin Krauthamel.
No, thank you. I'm also here just to observe. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much. Then we have Jesse Simmons.
No comments from me, thank you.
Great. Then would anyone else on the screen like to provide public comment? I think that's everyone.
Okay. So then that will conclude public comment. I'm not seeing anyone else. Moving on to county manager's update.
Thank you. I have no updates at this time other than the, on behalf of the Commissioner's Office, we would like very much to welcome Commissioner Klaus and soon-to-be Commissioner Fournier to the board, and very much look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments for County Manager Campbell? No? Okay. We'll move on to consent items. There's items 3A through 3I. Is there an item that commissioners would like to remove from the consent agenda? Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve consent items 3A.
Second.
Through 3I.
Is there a second? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Minzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to department items. First item from Community Planning and Economic Development, 4A, adoption of the 2023 Thurston County Comprehensive Plan amendments. And Maya Teeple, our senior planner, will present this item.
Thank you, Chair Mejia. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Maya Teeple, Senior Planner with Community Planning. I'm joined today by two of my fellow planners in the room with you, Leah Davis and Amelia Schwartz, Associate Planners. And today we're here to bring forward to you the package of comprehensive plan amendments for the 2023 calendar year for your consideration. So under Washington State Growth Management Act, RCW 3670A, jurisdictions can consider annual amendments to their comprehensive plans. Annual amendments are added to the Community Planning and Economic Development Work Plan through an annual process that is called docketing, and that begins at the beginning of each calendar year. And within each calendar year, the county may amend the comprehensive plan, which also includes sub-area plans, joint plans, any associated maps that are included in the comprehensive plan, no more frequently than once per year, as is stated in the Growth Management Act and state law. Changes must first be adopted to change the comprehensive plan, and that's done by resolution, and then a second motion follows, which adopts an ordinance that implements the associated changes to the county's zoning maps, and also if there are any associated county code regulation changes. So today's package of amendments, the 2023 amendments before you for final action, includes several items that have been in review with the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners for the last several years, over the last 2 to 3 years about, and all of these items are included on the official 2022 to 2023 comprehensive plan docket. So all of these items have had full legislative review. They've spent a lot of time before our Planning Commission and also before the Board of County Commissioners. We've received a lot of public comment on each of these individual items. And over the last 6 months, the Board of County Commissioners has provided a preliminary direction on each of the individual items that is included in this package today before you. So I'll provide a short summary of each of the items included in the package and the preliminary direction that was received from the board, just for the record. And following that, we'll be available to answer any questions you may have. So the first item is CPA-1 on the official docket, and that's the Olympia Joint Plan update. This is a full repeal and replacement, and it updates the county's 2005 joint plan based on the most recent Olympia Comprehensive Plan, which was updated as recently as 2020 or 2021. So in this update, there's updated population projections, updated building intensities, goals, policies that better align with Housing Action Plan updates. And also included is a code amendment to remove a grocery store requirement to the community-oriented shopping center district. And that is to meet a citizen request. So the Olympia Joint Plan has been reviewed both with our county and city planning commissions and also with the Olympia City Council from 2022 through 2023, and as recently as August with the Board of County Commissioners this year. Both the Planning Commission and the City Council provided unanimous recommendations on this item to include for that associated code amendment. And the board's preliminary direction on this item was received in August of 2023. That was 3-0. So a unanimous direction from the board to move this item forward, including that code amendment for the removal of the grocery store requirement. The next item included in this package is CPA-7A, which is the Grand Mound Subarea Plan on our official docket. And this is also a full repeal and replacement. It updates the 1996 plan. So there have been minor updates over the years, but it has not received a full comprehensive update since 1996. So it's fairly outdated. And this update incorporates new community input, changing trends and conditions, aligns it with the county's current comprehensive plan, and also updates things like population projections and building intensities. And goals and policies have been refreshed as well to meet community input. There are also some associated code changes with this item in the Grand Mound Subarea Plan that incorporate the 1998 Grand Mound Design Guidelines to help establish a sense of place in that area, and also a few changes to reduce lot widths for residential zones within the Grand Mound area to better facilitate some landowners' use of their land down there. This was reviewed with the Planning Commission in late 2022 and early 2023, and with the board through later in 2023. And the board did provide a unanimous direction to move forward the sub-area plan and the code amendments to revise lot widths and incorporate design guidelines. There are also 4 site-specific citizen requests that are part of this Grand Mound Subarea Plan package, and 2 of those received unanimous direction from the board. Those are the tribal trust lands, which changed 3 parcels from planned industrial district to arterial commercial, and the Morgan property, which changes 1 parcel from planned industrial to arterial commercial. And then for the other 2 land use requests from citizens, which are the Steelhammer and the Fire District properties, those were 2-1 from County Commissioner direction to move the Steelhammer, which is 3 parcels, from residential 4-16 per 1 to arterial commercial, and then the Fire District from 1 parcel, residential 4-16 per 1 to arterial commercial. So all of those are included in this package. Moving forward to the next item, we have CPA-21, which is our POG site-specific land use and zoning request. This was a citizen-initiated request that we received a few years ago. I believe it was added to the official docket in 2021, and their request is to change the land use and zoning on a property from rural residential resource, 1 unit per 5 acres, to neighborhood convenience commercial. And through our planning process with the Planning Commission, we also considered adding the adjacent parcel to the south as part of this package. That went through 2 public hearings with the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners, and on November 8th, the board provided preliminary direction at a 3-0 unanimous vote to move both parcels forward for land use and zoning amendment and changing those parcels to neighborhood convenience commercial. The Yelm Joint Plan, this is docket item CPA-1 on the official comprehensive plan docket. This is another full repeal and replace, a joint plan that has not been updated since 2006, and updates on the most recent Yelm comprehensive plan, which was 2017. Again, same as the other 2 joint plans, we've updated all the population projections, all of the building intensities, the goals, the policies across the whole plan, and align it with the county comprehensive plan and the city comprehensive plan. And this item received unanimous recommendations of approval from the Thurston County Planning Commission, the City of Yelm Planning Commission, the City Council, and then finally from the board on November 8th of this year. So that one sailed on through. And then another joint plan, this is the last item that I'll talk about today. This is the Lacey Joint Plan, also on the official comprehensive plan docket CPA-1. This is another full repeal and replace, and it updates the 2003 Lacey Joint Plan based on the most recent Lacey Comprehensive Plan from 2016. Again, same things across the board, updated population projections, building intensities, goals and policies to better align with the county and the city comprehensive plans. And there are also a number of other items included in the Lacey Joint Plan update, including a zoning consolidation of 2 low density zones into 1 low density zone, which brings the county into consistency with what the city is already applying, an urban growth area boundary expansion to include Gregg Cuyo Park and 7 individually owned parcels within the Lacey UGA, which will better provide for public services in that area. Half of that park is already in the city limits, so this will allow the city to provide public services across that park and better emergency response. And then there's also 3 site-specific land use and rezoning requests as part of the Lacey Joint Plan, and a couple of associated code amendments to implement the low density zoning consolidation. So in addition to being reviewed with both the Planning Commission of Thurston County and the City of Lacey Planning Commission, the Urban Growth Management Subcommittee did also review and consider the UGA expansion on June 5th of 2023, and their recommendation was that it is consistent with all of the current countywide planning policies, so that be moved forward. Following the Planning Commission's recommendation, the board reviewed this at a couple of work sessions and held a public hearing. And on November 8th, the board moved forward all of the items in the Lacey Joint Plan. Some of those were on a 3-0 vote, and the 3-0 vote was on the Joint Plan update, the UGA expansion, and the 3 site-specific land use and zoning requests. And then at a 2-1 vote, the Board of County Commissioners voted to move forward the low density consolidation to bring the county into alignment with what the city is implementing. So I'll just summarize very quickly the 3 land use and zoning requests that are included as part of this package. The first is the Bressie request, which rezones 3 parcels from neighborhood commercial to moderate density residential. The second request is MC Construction, which rezones 1 parcel from mineral extraction to low density. And that's an old mine, so it's being reclaimed, and mineral extraction is no longer a suitable zone for that. And then the final request is from the Forrester McDaniel property, and that is to zone a portion of their parcel. It's currently moderate density residential, and they would like to move that to low density residential, which is consistent with the rest of their property. So again, for all of the items that are included in this resolution and ordinance package, a 60-day notice to adopt was provided to Commerce in August of 2023. So we've met that 60-day notification requirement. And for the board's consideration today, there are 2 motions that must be made together if the board chooses to. The first is that to adopt a resolution that will implement the changes to the comprehensive plan and the land use changes, and the motion immediately following that would make associated changes by ordinance, and that reflects in the zoning maps and also the county code. So that concludes my remarks, and myself and Leah and Amelia are all available and happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions or Josh, anything you would like to add?
Yes, I would. Thank you very much, Chair. I'm Joshua Cummings, the Director of Community Planning and Economic Development. And I just wanted to take a moment. Thank you, Maya. Believe it or not, that was a very brief overview of this item. Thousands of hours of work have gone into all of the items that were listed on this comprehensive plan. And I wanted to express my appreciation to staff, but also to Planning Commission, who has put a lot of work in review of all these items, and then to the Board of County Commissioners. 5 years ago, our docket items were overblown, or there was a backlog. It was hard to get to each one of the items. This today represents a getting back on track of our comprehensive plan docket. We were overdue with the Department of Commerce. We got that taken care of. And now we're back able to serve the citizens as the applications come in with these comprehensive plan docket items. And it wouldn't have occurred without the hard work of the staff, the hard work of the Planning Commission, and the Board of County Commissioners making the decisions that Maya just went over. I know that this is a transitional time as we grow into the new Board of County Commissioners. And obviously, it's hard to digest so much work that's been gone on previously, and everyone needs to vote as they need to vote, obvious. But I want to make sure that it's clear that lots of consideration has gone into all of these items, and the respect and the time that's taking place really has been impactful for our community. So big thank you to everyone that's been involved. And I just wanted to take this moment because we've been talking about this for 5 years. How are we going to get back on track? And this is that moment that we're about to get back on track. So thank you for your time. And our staff is here to answer any questions as well.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Commissioner Klaus.
I have some comments. First, I want to say, just kind of echoing Josh's statement on the amount of work that has gone into this comprehensive plan. It's incredible to see the amount of detail that has gone into this plan. And as stated, it's quite hard to digest in one day. And I also want to say I do have a couple concerns, particularly with the Lacey Joint Plan, the component regarding low density consolidation. I noticed that this was unanimously voted against by the members of the Planning Commission who were present during that meeting. And that told me that it was worth looking into a bit more. I have not had what I feel is adequate time to really wrap my mind around all of the details of this component in particular. So I just wanted to state that for the record, and as well as potentially ask my seatmates to help me out with understanding at what point I would make a motion related to this.
What is it that you're requesting, Commissioner Klaus?
Well, I would move to allow for a bit more time to digest all of the details of this plan and postpone the vote to December 12th.
There's been a motion made. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second for purposes of discussion.
Okay.
And then I have a question for staff of whether there'd be any problem with having a vote on December 12th, or whether there's an importance of having today as the decision point. I know it has to be done by the end of the year, but December 12th sounds like before the end of the year.
Right. So I'll have the Community Planning Manager, Ashley Rye, answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, the plan would to have a vote today. If we needed to accommodate more time to answer questions, we can do that. It's also a really busy meeting as well. But that is really going to be up to the commissioners. I mean, I think we were preparing to have a final vote today, if the board feels they can do that.
We could have, we could direct that there be no, we've just heard the outline, and the three of us, we could simply just have it set for vote without taking any additional time on next week's agenda. That would be a thought. I don't know, unless there's an argument against that.
There's not an agenda next week.
Oh, right, it would be the 12th, sorry.
Is there any legal requirement that it's on for today, obviously, but any problem at all with postponing this for a couple of weeks until the 12th that you're aware of?
We can, or the board can take a final action on December 12th.
So as a courtesy or something, that's what I'm hearing, for a new commissioner to go over this.
So if we're going to move this item to December 12th, I do want to make sure that there are conversations as well with Commissioner-elect Fournier. Because at that point, on December 12th, we won't be able to keep moving this forward. That's it. And I do not want to be in this situation on December 12th. So really encouraging commissioners, if they need to have meetings with staff, that they take this time to really do it, because on December 12th, that's it. That's our last meeting of the year, and there will be no other opportunity. And unless we decide to not move forward with any of the hard work that we've tried to do throughout the year. And so that's kind of going to be my request on that.
2 points. One, the board had 2 work sessions that are relevant to this. I think one of them was a 2-to-1 vote the other way. And then the second one, Lacey staff came in and we had Q&A with Lacey staff, and then one of the commissioners changed their vote. So it landed 2-1 the other way, if that's the one issue that you're concerned about. I would also just point out, absolutely you should get the information you need to place a vote. But I think and I was going to make this comment anyway, there's about 15 items I counted of decision within this. I think Commissioner Edwards got what he wanted on all 15, but the other 2 of us did not.
Hey.
I was outvoted on items in Grand Mound. Commissioner Mejia was the dissenting vote on the Lacey consolidation. So I mean, I still plan to support this item because it's a democratic process, and you know, the vast majority of the items were unanimous. So I would just point out that even if you land on the opposite side of where the board landed on that issue, you might feel that you could support the package because there's so many pieces. It's kind of like the budget conversation. You know, you don't ever get everything you want in a budget, but it doesn't mean you don't pass the budget because you didn't get one thing out of about 1,000 that we vote on. So something to keep in mind as you go through that.
Mr. Edwards.
I guess as a follow-up to that, because I did so well in this. No, I think the main thing, if I had to address my seatmate's concern about this particular issue and why the Planning Commission maybe took the stance they did, I don't think that they knew about the memorandum of understanding between Thurston County and the city of Lacey. It's my understanding, I've talked to a few of those folks and they were not aware of that issue. So I'm inclined to go with the commissioner as far as trying to get up to speed, but I'm just afraid there's so many things that we're gonna have to deal with. And I will say that memorandum of understanding, if I was gonna ask staff anything about that, I mean, we could get into that a little more detail. I think it's been lightly mentioned today that was in place and kind of nobody knew about it. But then it was brought forward, I believe, by the Lacey staff when they were here talking to us. So I'm not trying to blame anybody. I'm just saying I think that might have been the reason, but to meet the commitments of that memorandum that's been in place, signed and re-signed, I think, several times. I'm looking at Leah. I don't know if I got that right or not, but over the years, I think that if I had to pick a reason, I think that was the reason, because in actuality, we are in step now with the city of Lacey, which is one of our goals and one of the goals of growth management. The Growth Management Act itself expects us to try to make it align as we move out, if you will, into the unincorporated areas. So I'm kind of, I'm, I'm inclined to cast my first vote maybe against my new seatmate, which that doesn't give me any particular joy. It's just that I'm kind of with Commissioner Mejia that we've got a lot of things pending and we've only got that one other meeting that gives us any allowance to move forward. And we have really kicked this around a lot. And staff has put in so much time. And there are so many other people depending on what is about to take place here. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. So, Madam Chair.
I appreciate Commissioner Edwards, you bringing up the MOU. I forgot about that because the reason I forgot about it is because I had already, at the first meeting where I was already there without that MOU. But then in the second meetings when the MOU came up, and that's what kind of turned your opinion on that. So I do appreciate that because I had forgotten about that piece. That's something else for the commissioner too.
So no hard feelings if we don't go the way you go as a new commissioner, but,
So-
and welcome aboard.
Yeah, so there is a motion on the table that's been seconded to move this item to December 12th. If there's any more discussion, then I'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Commissioner Pop? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Nay.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Put me in the hard spot, right? If I say nay. I'll go with aye, just to give the commissioner some time with this item, but so the motion passes. This item will be moved to December 12th. But really do encourage commissioners, after December 12th, I will not, I'll be very adamant about passing a vote. There's way too many items on here. And can we get a hold of Commissioner-elect Fournier and let him know about if there's any questions that he takes this time until December 12th to, get his questions answered, but on December 12th, I will be asking for a vote to move forward on this.
Certainly, Chair, we will reach out to Commissioner-elect Fournier.
Thank you. Okay, any additional questions on this matter? Okay, so this matter, item 4A, has now been moved to December 12th. Thank you, Commissioner. But I wanted to make sure that, don't want to put anyone in a difficult situation to cast a vote. Okay, so moving on to item 4B, final action on the code change to align capital improvement program and budget process. And Andrew, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Staff are requesting the Board of County Commissioners move to approve an ordinance amending Thurston County Code Title II to implement the code change to align the capital improvement program and the budget process that will allow minor CIP amendments to utilize the streamlined process. The public hearing was held last week on Tuesday, November 21st. The Board of County Commissioners directed community planning staff to move forward with this amendment to establish the board as the only reviewer of minor amendments. The proposed amendment clarifies Thurston County process to review minor amendments by establishing the Board of County Commissioners as the only reviewer of those amendments. It will also still require the county staff to provide a 60-day notice to the Washington State Department of Commerce, a SEPA determination, and hold a public hearing with the board. The amendment includes a description of what a minor amendment is and by what time the minor amendment must take place before it is required to go through with the annual update. The Thurston County Public Attorney's Office has reviewed and assisted in drafting the ordinances that you have before you and identified no legal issues with the proposal. A 60-day notice was provided to the Washington State Department of Commerce on September 19th, which concluded this 2 Saturdays ago on November 18th with no comments received. This amendment is a procedural change and has no direct impact on land use, zoning, or the comprehensive plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Klaus?
No questions.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
On this particular motion, I'm curious, is there something back in is there more information back in our file cabinet there that the public has available to them? And I'm specifically referring to a sentence in here. Align capital improvement program and budget process that allows minor CIP amendments to utilize the streamlined process. I'm wondering, what is the definition of the streamlined process? Is there something referred to in RCW that specifically lays this out? So I guess I don't know what the streamlined process is, and I wonder if the public knows what the streamlined process is. And I'm just curious, what's the deal with that?
So the description you're referring to within the request is more of just a description of what it will entail. And so with this proposal, we will be reducing the amount of time it takes to process a minor amendment. And with that, we just kind of coined it as a more streamlined process versus the standard process, which would involve the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners. It's a shorter process is probably a better word to describe.
Is there an RCW that that is referenced in this change, that we're changing to be in compliance or within the guidelines set out by an RCW specifically?
The current ordinance does not reference an RCW, no.
Is there an RCW that is applicable to this particular issue?
Yes, Commissioner, as we discussed earlier,
Yeah,
there
but
is
that's
an
what,
RCW in chapter 3670A RCW that allows the capital facility plan or capital improvement plan to be changed more than once per year in alignment with the budget amendment.
I wasn't gonna get into that detail, but you brought it up, ma'am. I thought that was gonna be included in the motion so the public would have ready access to be able to see what type of legal issue we had that we were gonna align it with and comply with. Okay, let me ask this question. Is there any reason that this couldn't be taken up on the 12th if we needed a little more time to make this happen? I'm just curious. Is there a time element that's holding us up here today?
There is no time limit to this item, Commissioner. It's at the pleasure of the board. But as you heard earlier today, this is a legal change. It is in alignment with state law, and there is no requirement, because it's a procedural change, it is at the discretion of the board.
Okay. One other follow-up to this issue. In past conversations, it's been referred to that there's maybe two options to move forward on this particular issue, sideboards, if you will. One of them having to do with whenever unplanned revenue came in that we did not know about and hence would not have had time to plan for. So that was going to be one of the guidelines that would fit. And the other is a more broad kind of almost, well, whenever a deal comes up that we need to kind of hurry the process along. So which one is this? Is this the one that's kind of the more broader attempt at giving us some leeway versus, because I don't see a dollar amount or anything referring unspecified money coming in?
So the option that you have before you is the more general one that would allow this exemption for any new amendment to the capital improvement program. We don't define the minor amendment with a dollar amount. We define it with a number of projects. So any if it's one or two projects, it will qualify as a minor amendment. Otherwise, anything greater than two will have to go with the annual update, which will have the normal process that you see today.
I don't know, I'll give Commissioner Klaus an opportunity to beat me up here when we go into the vote. That's it for me, ma'am.
Questions?
Commissioner Edwards covered my questions just now.
Okay.
Good to go.
Okay. We're ready to move forward on this item.
Madam Chair, I move to approve an ordinance amending Thurston County Code Title II to implement the code change to align capital improvement program and budget process that allows minor CIP amendments to utilize a streamlined process.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Nay.
Commissioner Menzer? Aye. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay, moving on to Public Health and Social Services, item 5A, Thurston County Developmental Disabilities 2024 through 2025 Community Grant Contracts. And Mark Moffett, Community Program Manager, is here to present this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mark Moffett, Program Manager for Public Health and Social Services. The purpose of this agenda item is to communicate funding recommendations related to a recent Development of Disabilities Program request for proposal. It also seeks authorization for the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign contracts effective January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025, and to authorize any contract amendments that do not exceed 10% in total amount or duration. On August 15th of this year, the Board of County Commissioners approved the release of the Development of Disabilities Program request for proposal for millage-funded services that would be provided in 24 and 25. Revenue to fund these proposals will come from Thurston and Mason County dedicated property tax dollars. Funding limits were set at $1 million for Thurston County and $500,000 for Mason County, and have been included in the 2024 Thurston County Public Health and Social Service Department budget request. These funds and proposed contracts support community services that align with the goals of Thurston Thrives and Thurston County strategic plan initiatives and other assistance, and offer assistance to people with developmental disabilities that cannot be paid for through other Washington State Department of Social and Health Services contracts. The Developmental Disabilities Program received 12 proposals in response to the RFP. These proposals were reviewed and scored by a group of citizen volunteers with broad knowledge of the needs of people with developmental disabilities and their families in both Thurston and Mason counties. This is a request for the board to approve the award of up to $1 million in dedicated property tax dollars in Thurston and up to $500,000 in Mason for the following agencies: the Arc of the Peninsulas, the Arc of the Peninsula, Arc of Washington State, Coastal Community Action, Fox Associates, Kakua, Morningside, People First of Washington, Senior Services for South Sound Parent to Parent, and Thurston County Inclusion for the contract period of July 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025. And that is all.
Thank you. Any questions for Mark? Commissioner Klaus?
No questions.
Commissioner Edwards?
I don't know as I have any questions for Mark, but I would like to compliment Mark and his staff for helping. There's a specific tax dedicated for this issue, and I look at Mark as the ramrod to make this happen. There's a lot of challenged individuals out there that benefit from your hard work, sir, and your staff, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No questions.
Okay, no questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the award of up to $1 million in dedicated property tax dollars per RCW 712110 in Thurston County Developmental Disabilities millage funding and up to $500,000 in Mason County millage funding, and enter into contracts with Arc of the Peninsula's, Arc of Washington, Coastal Community Action, Fox Associates, Kokua, Morningside, People First of Washington, Senior Services for South Sound Parent to Parent, and Thurston County Inclusion for the contract period of January 1, 2024 to December 31st, 2025, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contracts and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do the following item, and then we will be pausing our agenda to do our public hearing that starts at 3:30, which is public hearing to consider the transfer of portions of county roads to the Confederated Tribes of the Chehalis Reservation. We'll go ahead and address item 5B, amendment number 17 to the Washington State Department of Health 2022 through 2024 consolidated contract number CLH 31030. David Bain, the Public Health and Social Services Director, will present this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Here to present amendment number 17 to the Washington State Department of Health 2022 to 2024 consolidated contract, which is our master contract with the State Department of Health. So we're asking the board to approve this amendment, which provides an additional $280,000 for a revised maximum consideration of $19,679,854 for the duration of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and authorize the director or appointed representative of PHSS to execute the amendment.
Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner Klaus?
No questions.
Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Mensah?
No.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve amendment number 17 to the State of Washington Department of Health Consolidated Contract, CLH 31030, providing an additional $280,000 for a revised maximum consideration of $19,679,854 for the duration of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and authorize the director or appointed representative of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah? Aye. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you. Okay, with that, we will pause and move on to our public hearing. Okay. Matt, are you ready? Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started with the public hearing. This public hearing is the transfer of portions of Thurston County roads to the Confederated Tribes of the Chehalis Reservation. It is November 28th, 2023. It is 3:30 p.m. The purpose of this public hearing is to accept and consider public comment on the transfer of portions of Anderson Road Southwest, 188th Avenue Southwest, 183rd Avenue Southwest, 195th Avenue Southwest, and Moon Road Southwest to the Confederate Tribes of the Chehalis Reservation. This is a hybrid public hearing. Those wishing to testify have joined in person, by Zoom, emailed in comment, and mailed in comment. If you do not wish to testify but would like to listen and follow along, please watch the live stream through the Thurston County YouTube channel to help us manage attendance. If you would like to join, please select announcements of public hearings on the left-hand side. The information to join this public hearing remotely has been posted there. Matt Onsamon, County Engineer, will provide information on this topic. Assuming those on Zoom wish to testify, we will read your name out loud. You will have 4 minutes to testify. Time may not be given to another person. When you're called on, please state your name and address for the record. The public hearing is now open. Matt will now present background information on the proposed road transfer, written comments submitted, and any additional information requested by the board.
Okay. I apologize for my tardiness. I was getting my presentation put together. This public hearing is to receive comments considering the transfer of ownership of the portion of 5 roads that provide access to the Chehalis Reservation. Commissioner Mejia listed them off, but I'll read them again. Anderson Road, south of US 12, 195th east of Anderson Road, 188th between Anderson and Moon Road, south of US 12, and 183rd west of Moon Road. So hopefully everybody can see those roads listed on the screen. These roads primarily provide access to tribal communities, including the Lucky Eagle Casino and the local tribal community. The proposed agreement includes language that the roads transferred to the Chehalis tribe would need to continue to be used for transportation purposes, and the roads need to remain in their current condition or better. These roads are a very small portion of the more than 1,000 roadway miles that the county owns and maintained by Thurston County, and have to repeat for maintenance and emergency response priorities. There are two common themes that we keep receiving in the 6 comments that we've received. The lack of compensation from the tribe to the county for this agreement. Our response to this is that we're not vacating the county right-of-way. We're simply transferring our right-of-way interest. This agreement transfers the operational and maintenance responsibilities of these roadways to the tribe. Number 2 is in regards to the closure of 188th. Our response to this concern is that this is only a temporary closure. At the end of the 10-year period, temporary period, we'd have to reevaluate anyways whether or not that closure remains in place. I did reach out to the tribe, and they did confirm that they do not have any plans of reopening this roadway. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Klaus?
No questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
What is the issue? I don't think it's Anderson Road. It's the one on the other H over there. What's the?
Moon Road.
Moon Road. What's the issue there over title, ownership, something
Yeah, I actually ran into Mr. Johnson out in the hallway, and I think he's gonna provide comment on that. So in front of Mr. Johnson's place, we have what's called a there's been a right-of-way map recorded that identifies that the county has the interest to operate in the right-of-way 20 feet towards Mr. Johnson's property. So we are simply transferring our right-of-way interest in front of Mr. Johnson's property that we're already using for transportation purposes.
So if this is transferred at some point, we're gonna have a public hearing on it, so we don't know where we're going just yet. But under the proposal, everyone still has access to be on these roads?
Absolutely.
And so the sheriff sees I don't want to use drunk driver because I think you can be on private property there. Maybe a speeding vehicle or something. And the sheriff will have authority to take what enforcement action that he deems necessary?
In terms of specific law enforcement activities, I'm not sure. With most agencies, the sheriff's office has an interlocal agreement with. I don't know what that interlocal agreement looks like with the tribe. However, if these roads were transferred to the tribe, then it would be the tribal police that would be responsible for emergency services on those roads.
I guess I'm thinking about if somebody ducks in there off of Highway 12. Is there any hindrance on any law enforcement action being taken if we're turning these roads over to, and I think the RCW that has to do with, I'm looking over towards Ms. Campbell on, I think that RCW calls out tribal entities as well as other government entities, like maybe a port authority or a municipality of one type or another city or town.
Yes.
And allows for that.
Do you know which one?
I don't know off the top of my head, to be
So
honest.
hang on just a sec and I'll look it up.
And I guess what I'm thinking is there any, we've already thrown a lot of things at law enforcement. I don't think we have, but a lot of barriers have been thrown up in front of law enforcement being able to accomplish their job. And one of them is you can't chase bad guys down, certain things maybe. So now would that be another one of those roadblocks that, somebody coming in off Highway 12?
I gotta be honest with you, when it comes to chasing bad guys.
Be able to do that.
that's
Yeah,
not
I don't
my-
want
that's
you
not my
I
wheelhouse,
don't want you
but,
chasing them down, Matt. I'm just trying to come up with a
That's-
Matt is
hypothetical.
not doing that.
Yeah.
So regarding transfer of property, RCW 3933-010 specifically authorizes the transfer of real property to federally recognized Indian tribes on such terms and conditions as may be mutually agreed upon by the proper authorities. So the tribes are specifically called out.
And we're the other part of that proper authority.
We are.
And we're just doing a lease, right? I mean, not even a dollar amount lease. What we're gonna benefit out of this
So what
is we don't have to plow the snow and fix the potholes.
So there's multiple benefits for us and there's multiple benefits for the tribe. The benefits for us is that we have less road miles to maintain.
Okay.
The benefit for the tribe is that they get to prioritize the maintenance for those roads. Because if a snow event happens, those roads are the most important to the tribe because they provide direct access to the casino and the tribal communities. We have to take care of Martin Way. We have to take care of the emergency services routes to the hospitals. We have other competing priorities. So this would allow them to prioritize those maintenance and emergency response activities. So it's, in my mind, it's a win-win for both the tribe and the county.
Okay.
And it's saving the taxpayers money.
Okay. We'll hear what the folks have to say, I guess.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
Yes. An additional point on the point you're making, Commissioner Edwards, is the tribe pointed out to me at least two, multiple instances of where there was an issue with the road and they called the county and the county thought it was within their purview and there wasn't even an understanding of whose purview the particular situation fell with under. So
That's-
kind of falls into your prioritization issue.
And that's not uncommon. We try to identify those boundaries between the county and local agencies, but you know how it goes. I mean, there's continuously annexations and those boundaries, they move more often than what you think. So we
Yeah.
try to keep those identified in the field, but yes, there is still some confusion once in a while.
So I want to go back to the beginning of your presentation when you mentioned compensation and closure of 188th. That's information, those are issues that the tribe brought up?
Okay, so as far as, no, the tribe did not bring that up. So we've received 6 responses to date from the public. And one of them is, why is the county not being compensated for this transfer? And there's multiple answers to that.
Okay, this was public questions.
Correct. And so, one, the county does save money in the long run because I think there's 5 bridges on these routes. There's all the pavement preservation, all the guardrail. There's a lot of maintenance that goes along with maintaining these roads. So those costs accumulate over time much more than what the value of this right of way is. And as far as the other issue was the closure of 188th, I'm sure the board remembers, I think we went through like 3 or 4 public hearings on getting that closed. And so that was only a 10-year closure.
Right.
And so there was concern from the public that the tribe, if we went forward with the transfer, that the tribe would open that gate and allow access once more on 188th. I reached out to the tribe and they wholeheartly stated that no, they're not interested in opening that gate. In fact, they're one of the proponents who worked with us to get that gate closed to begin with.
Okay, and then my last question was then about the law enforcement issue. I got a little confused there. So you're saying, or maybe Commissioner Edwards is saying, somebody was saying that if the road, the rights that we could potentially convey in this transaction were transferred, that changes who responds in terms of law enforcement?
It would, the tribal police would become the primary responder for.
Are
these
they the
roads.
primary responder on their own reservation anyway?
Yes,
So what's really changing?
they'll have additional responsibilities on these roads.
But will there be any like practical effect of it? Something happens in the middle of 188th? Wouldn't they be the ones to respond, not the
In
sheriff?
and I don't want to speak for the sheriff's office and Commissioner Edwards, I see you looking at me. It makes more sense to me, the tribal response units are going to be a heck of a lot closer than the county response units. So the response times, if there is an incident on any of these roads, the response time should be great. It should be quicker.
I guess what I'm asking is, right now, are they both, is it like concurrent jurisdiction? Sheriff might come or tribal police might come?
I'll be honest with you, I
don't
don't know.
know? Okay.
I would have to imagine there's some interlocal agreement between the sheriff's office and the tribal police.
Okay, well, I'd be curious as what the situation is now and if this action by us, proposed action would change that in some way that we should be aware of.
So I'll do that research, and when I come back to agenda setting, do we have agenda setting next week?
Nope, on the 12th.
I'll come back on the 12th, and I will have information regarding law enforcement activities on these roads.
Actually, we do have agenda setting next week, just not a Tuesday afternoon.
So I will be here next week to talk about law enforcement too.
Madam Chair, could I do a follow-up?
Go ahead, sir.
In one of our work sessions on this topic, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so was there something brought up that this is almost like a lease to the tribe, that they're gonna take care of everything and the expense and all that, and we could get it back if things didn't work? Did you say something like that?
I did, and then you followed up and asked me to do a little bit of research into that. So what happens is there's language in the agreement, as I mentioned, that these roads have to be maintained in their current condition or better and have to be used for transportation purposes. If that doesn't happen, there's mechanisms within that agreement that would allow those roads to be turned back to the county.
Okay, and that's that is my question about the follow-up to Commissioner Menzer. What is that mechanism? How does that happen? Do we end up going, I think there's something in there about federal court maybe has some oversight? I'm just wondering how it'll happen.
You directed me down that rabbit hole. So I dug into it, and it's actually the Western Washington Supreme Court would have to make that determination. Did I say that right, Becky?
Western what? Western District, U.S. Court, maybe? Western District, Western Washington District, U.S. Court.
Federal Court in
maybe
Western
Federal
Washington.
Court. Okay, well, I think we're gonna hear more about this, so I don't wanna be late this whole thing, so.
Okay,
let's see
so
what happens.
I have 3 people signed up on the list. I'll go through the sign-up list and then I will open it up for members of the public who have shown up in person, who didn't get a chance to sign up, and then we will move on to Zoom. And so first person on the list is John Pettit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I appreciate this opportunity to help inform you about a few facts you may not know. Portions of the property that you are planning to assign over to the tribe are not owned. They're not in the reservation. So you are actually seeking to enlarge the scope, and some of that property, example on Moon Road, the center line of the road is a section marker, and from the center line over towards to the east belongs to Mr. Johnson. I got pulled over by an Indian policeman there years ago, went to the tribal court and told them where the reservation existed. And the tribal court says, no, we don't have jurisdiction. Therefore, you're free to go and we'll take that off your record. You can't give away people's property, something that doesn't belong within the reservation even. You can't say, okay, now the reservation gets to have it. Okay, on to the next, well, a short issue. our equipment for public works is very expensive about maintaining roads. It costs a lot of money to maintain roads. The tribe has none. They don't have any equipment. How are they possibly going to function and want to spend $50,000 a mile to maintain roads? They aren't going to want to. There's no real purpose for it. Now, another issue which I brought, which is kind of an interesting personal story on this, is that many years ago, my father was a county commissioner. And in 1978, he came to an agreement with the tribes. This had to do with putting in a bridge and getting some right-of-way. Now, the fact of the matter is, I have a copy of it. I've already sent you a copy of it. The county used county taxpayer dollars to purchase right-of-ways. In fact, a little spot in here, it says here, Thurston County will pay for the fair market for all right-of-way. Title for properties taken shall be in Thurston County's name. So with your action, you are making a gifting of public funds. This is off of Anderson Road, not even including the property off Moon Road that doesn't belong to the county. Maybe you have a big pocket that you want to pay for that land. But the bottom line is, there is no real benefit to the tribe to have Moon Road. There really isn't any benefit to have any of the roads if they're being taken care of currently. The county has the equipment. The county has all the process in place. And you're going to be hearing some more from some people about how perhaps there could be almost criminal actions that happen to people who own property inside the reservation that have limited access to their properties because the tribe wants to inflict certain fees upon them without any rightful cause. Are you going to provide special benefit to Mr. Johnson for the time he loses because the tribe wants to take over part of his property? This is a ridiculous process of transferring. If you're going to start transferring right-of-ways, maybe you could, I don't have any equipment either, but maybe you could transfer all the right-of-way on Rich Road along my property to me. I'd like to own it. Why not? You know, it makes as much sense as this going over to the tribe. Thank you.
Next is Eric Johnson.
Hello, commissioners. Yes, I'm a Southwest Thurston County farmer. I own property along Moon Road, Johnson Jersey Dairy. This is the second or third time I've been up at the county against the acquisition of the expansion of the reservation onto my property. I have road frontage there on Moon Road. Some of it was purchased by the county where they put the bridge in before I purchased the property about 20 years ago. So that's public funds, bought the right-of-way up to a certain point. So I view that as a gifting of public funds to a non-governmental agency within the United States. The rest of Moon Road is a prescriptive right-of-way. And a prescriptive right-of-way, for the county to actually own it, to give it away, a judge would have to rule on it. There is no ruling by any judge on the prescriptive right-of-way. Some other questions. Why give it away? Why give public personal property to a entity? I have no problem with the Chehalis tribal members. This isn't a Indian versus other people issue. I have a problem with people in the past that they have elected to manage their grounds and manage their business. A lot of them know the problems that their past employees have created. Easements also on this road system. and right-of-ways, the easements cannot be transferred. If the county took an easement from a landowner, the county cannot transfer that easement to a non-governmental agency. Let's see here. The equipment issue, you know, the Chehalis Indian tribe can contract out, but they don't personally own the equipment to do snow removal, et cetera. It floods through there all the time. I'd like to know why the county isn't following the Grays Harbor example, where Grays Harbor still owns the roads and the roadway, but the tribe has the ability to maintain and take care of them, like they're asking for now. Let's see, and the only open road to the casino, because that was brought up by Matt, is Anderson Road. 188th is closed. And the tribe, not necessarily the members, but the tribe wants to move the gate that Thurston County put in up closer to Moon Road. Right now, I probably have, I'm sending Matt pictures about 10 times a year of semi trucks turning around in my field, destroying my property, because the turnaround point down there is not good. It was a poor design. I don't know if, I'm sure some of you have backed a trailer up. How easy is it to back a trailer up when you're looking to the left versus when you're looking to the right? It's a lot harder. And that's how that turnaround system is set up. My biggest problem here is that there's no due process. I have no process. If I have a problem, it's like me fighting Canada. Thank you.
Lehman. Okay, Rob Lehman.
Hi, my name is Rob Lehman. I live at 11530 School End Road in Rochester. I own the piece of property right next to the casino, 10 acres. I've had my property access shut off by the tribe multiple occasions. Everybody says they're not going to shut off the access to your property. They've shut off my access 5 different times. The people at the tribe are wonderful people. I've grown up across the road from them. My dad lived there. I live 300 yards from Lehman Road, which is my last name. The people across the road from me are trust land tribe people. We consider them part of our family. They consider us part of their family. My dad grew up with their dad. I've grown up with them. My kids have gone to school with them. I'm 4th generation that's lived there, and I can tell you, they're good people. But the people working for them are white, and they're not good people. They're scum. And I can tell you right now, they say, you pay me money or you don't get to move your trees off your property. You pay me cash money or you don't get to move the hay off your property. And I've gone and hired attorneys, and the attorneys say, well, you've got no standing in their court. You can't take them to their court. Our court can't do anything with them. They can do anything to you they want, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now you're going to say, it's okay. They own the roads now. You're going to give them the roads that they keep shutting off, and I keep having to drive through saying you can't do that. Now you're going to give them the roads, and you're going to say, here's the roads. Now they can make me pay them cash money under the table. I've gone to the FBI, and I've had the feds come out, and one of them got 5 years. But it still is a simple thing. I can't touch them. I can't get anybody to talk to them. I can't go to I don't get a vote for the people that are in charge out there. I can't get them in my court. I can't go to their court. I have no representation whatsoever out there. I own a piece of property next to the casino. That property's access has been shut off multiple times over the years. Dr. Sodi, Ralph was the head of the police department. Those people shut me off. And it was about green money. You pay me cash or you're not getting your product off your property. Okay, I barely got my stuff done when they didn't have the roads. Now you're going to give them the roads. And I'm telling you, the tribal people are wonderful people. I love a lot of them. I've grown up with them. They're great people. But you're going to sit here and you're going to act like it's a good idea to give those people in charge of the tribe the ability to extort money out of me any old time they want, and there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing. It's totally legit, totally legal. They're a sovereign nation. They're their own nation. I can't get them to court. I can't get in their court. I have no representation whatsoever. And you're going to give them the roads so they really can shut me off. I logged a piece of property at the end of Moon Road that I own, 40 acres. 3/4 of it was grass, part of it was timber. I went to take the timber off. They shut the road off on me, parked cop cars end to end. I drove down there and I said, what are you doing? They says, we're just telling your truck drivers that are going to haul your logs for you that they can't haul on these roads. And I says, but they can. And they say, well, they don't know that. And I couldn't get any trucks. I had to go buy a truck and haul the logs myself. And one trip out, they had the road blocked. And I had to tell them to move the road, the cop cars, or I'll drive over them. And this is all a matter of record. I had to call the FBI to get them to stop doing that stuff. And it's about you pay me some cash or we're not going to let you do anything out here. And now you're giving them the actual ability to shut the road off. And there's people out there they've been messing with for years. Rudy Hillinger, if they get a chance to shut the road off on Rudy, he's done. And it's like, what are you people thinking?
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. Okay, is there anyone else in the boardroom who would like to provide public comment? Okay, we're gonna start with lady in the yellow, and then we're gonna move over, then we're gonna come over here.
If the county doesn't in fact.
Could you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, I'm Cash and I stay out on our reservation. A lot of these individuals who have spoken, it can trace back to the Homestead Act. But anyways, to return our and to restore our property to us, whether it be as breadcrumbed as it is, we do seek justice and we do seek to be able to utilize our property and our roads and our lands how we see fit. And if they don't, there are processes. And so by all means, it is, I guess, intimidating to go through the legal process, but it is a legal process. It is documented. And as much as the rhetoric has been, it isn't against us, it's not them against us. All of the rhetoric through their narrative has been nothing but that. So if it isn't, then we can have our land, we can have our roads, and they can go by their due process as well. So we need all of our land and all of our property, but this is the small property that we're working on. These are the small roads that we're working towards getting. We absolutely have the equipment and we are capable. The fact that people would like to make us look incompetent or anything like that is absolutely a racist ideology that everybody needs to get out of their brains. Thank you so much.
Hello, Brian Fagerness, 11613 Langworthy Road, Rochester. And I own property on the north side of Highway 12 down in the affected area. Three major things. Essentially, the way I see this, if the county gives this roadway back to the tribe or to the tribe, it essentially eliminates any taxpayer involvement or control over the roadways, which have been funded by the taxpayers since 1852, according to the board on the behind you. The reason this is important is because I totally understand the tribe wanting to have control over those roads, but we also had to hire legal counsel back in the early 2000s just to keep Anderson Road from being raised to where it increased the floodwaters on the north side of the highway. It's not just as simple of who controls law enforcement or who controls this. I understand 188th is closed right now and it's on a temporary 10-year closure. That's great. It's the safest thing the county the state and the tribes have done in my lifetime. I grew up down there. All it takes is one change of council at the tribe and 188th is open. Right now, they're totally in support of keeping it closed. I understand that. But should the council change, which it undoubtedly will, plans change, all the taxpayers that have been paying for the road maintenance of those roads for 100+ years are out of luck. No representation at all. I gotta admit, I wasn't aware of Grays Harbor's arrangement with the tribe as far as maintenance, because that was one of the things I wrote down, is why not grant the tribe the right to maintain? If they don't like the speed at which we're getting down there, or we being the county, are getting down there to maintain, put up flood signs, maintain, snow removal, what have you. And an interlocal agreement for maintenance seems like it'd be a pretty simple solution. And really, it's cliche, but I do see it as a gift of public funds when it's just being arbitrarily handed over. I'm in the right-of-way business. I have been for 23 years. I have never seen an agency just arbitrarily grant. If you want a dedicated or a old right-of-way or an old alley adjacent to your property, you typically have to pay for it. And I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying that seems kind of weird to me. But yeah, I'm just worried that once the county loses control over any input, the taxpayers, right now we have a process for complaining. If we don't like how Moon Road's, being functioned, we can go down there and complain. Some of the other members of the audience have mentioned the same thing. It is, it's a sovereign nation. So I'd like to just stick with how it's been going since 1852. I just don't see I think we're creating a problem where there isn't one by this transfer. So that's all I've got. Thanks.
My name's Amy Laudermilk. I'm the planning director for the Chehalis tribe. So this road maintenance or road transfer is strictly about maintenance. It's a maintenance issue. We want to be able to maintain the roads. We feel we can do a better job maintaining than Thurston County has been able to do, like what was spoken earlier. So in about 2010, we got the roads from Grays Harbor County that are on the reservation in Grays Harbor County, and that was done through a quitclaim deed. And right after that, we got a road maintenance crew, and we've had them, they're tribal employees, they've been on staff since that time, and we've been maintaining all the roads on the reservation that are within Grays Harbor County, and that's about 6 miles of roads. So our road crew, they have equipment. We have plows. They fix potholes. They go out and do mowing. We do everything that's necessary to maintain those roads, because it's the tribal members that are ones driving on those roads. So of course we want to keep them open. We've got customers going to the casino. So of course we want to make it easy for them to be able to get to the casino. There's been several instances in the last couple years where Thurston County has not come down and maintained the roads. One of the last times that we had a big snow event, Thurston County never came down and did any plowing whatsoever. Our crew was out soon as it started snowing, and they were rotating shifts, plowing all the roads that we have in the Grays Harbor County side on Howinet and all of the side roads. And we had customers coming to the casino that couldn't even make it up the hill to get to the casino. And when we contacted Thurston County, they said, oh, well, we didn't know that we were supposed to come down there and plow. We had another instance in the last couple of years where we had a huge pothole going into the casino. And we called the county and we said, we need you to fix this pothole. There was cars getting flat tires. And when Thurston County came down, they said, this isn't our responsibility to maintain it. Then it took like a week for things to get sorted out for them to actually come down and fix the pothole. We've had storm events happen where our road crew is out there cleaning up afterwards all the branches and debris. We get it taken care of quick, and it takes Thurston County a couple days to come down. So this is strictly a road maintenance issue. We want to be able to maintain the roads, and that's why we want them. We feel like we can respond to things quicker. We're right there. We've got people on staff that are on the reservation, our tribal law enforcement. They can contact our road crew any time of the day. So if there's something immediate that needs to be taken care of, a sign down or something that needs to be removed from the road, our crew is out there taking care of it. So we would like this road transfer to happen so that we can better maintain the roads for everyone that lives on the reservation.
Chair, may I ask a question?
Go ahead, sir.
Ms. Laudermilk, since you mentioned something about Grays Harbor and quitclaim deed, and the previous commenter said that there was it was an ILA for maintenance only. Quitclaim deed is a transfer of ownership.
Yes.
So was that inaccurate?
It's a quitclaim deed.
So your arrangement with Grays Harbor was to transfer ownership from the county to the tribe?
Yes, exactly. And since then, we've been in communication with Grays Harbor County, and they want to give us more roads, actually, because, they understand that their focus is on their, more urban areas. And so, they see that we've done a good job. We have spent millions of dollars on improving the roads on the reservation. And with the ones in Grays Harbor County, we own them, so we can quickly get in there, and we've put in an overflow bridge. We've put in culverts where there was flooding issues. We realigned Howinet Road. We've spent millions of dollars on making improvements on those roads. And when it comes to Thurston County, us making improvements, we were just able to do Anderson Road widening, and we put a sidewalk in, but that took years of negotiations with the county for us to be able to do that. And it was something that we paid for. We have funds for roads, and we want to be able to improve the roads. We want to make it nice for our customers coming to the casino. We want to make it nice for our tribal members. We want them to be able to get around. And so that's why we ask that you do this transfer.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, wait, I did you still want to? Okay, go ahead. And then is there anyone else, so I can kind of have, who would like to provide public comment? Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Harry Chesnin. I'm the Chehalis Tribe's attorney. I just have 2 points that I would like to make for the commissioners. The first one is that tribal roads, such as what you're suggesting, receive BIA road funds. And so the tribe not only uses its own resources, but also has access to BIA road funds to maintain the roads on the reservation and within the tribe's inventory. So this is not a situation where the roads will go wanting, basically. The second thing I wanted to point out had to do with law enforcement jurisdiction. The Chehalis tribe has an agreement with the Thurston County Sheriff's Office so that the Chehalis tribe serves in the same capacity as Thurston County Sheriff, relieving them of the burden with respect to jurisdiction on the reservation. You could view it as basically a co-jurisdiction, but as you may know, the Chehalis tribe does not have criminal jurisdiction over non-Indians. Only the sheriff's office does. And so if an incident arises, in the past, the sheriff's office had to detail people all the way out to the Oakville area to deal with the problem. And that prompted this basically interlocal agreement between the tribe and the sheriff's office so that for the interests of law enforcement on both sides. And that's really all I have for you.
Good afternoon. Dustin Clatouche, the chairman of the Chehalis tribe. So I lived on 195th Avenue for about 12, 13 years almost, and that road wasn't maintained one time the whole time that I lived there. I had to rent my own equipment to go fill in the potholes, cut down all the brush on the side and stuff like that. But I also work for the construction company out there on the tribe too, so I will tell you that we do have equipment out there to clear the roads. We do have equipment to mow the sides of the roads. We do have the proper manpower to fill in all the potholes and stuff like that too. So that's just one of the big things that we do now. It's kind of like a public works department, and it's close. It's close to all of those roads over there. So I'm sorry that all the stuff that happened in the past to a couple of you guys that got up here and said that. Just want to let you guys know right now that we're new here. I'm a new chairman of the tribe, and my plan is to work with each and every one of you guys that are surrounding the community. And if you guys got any problem, man, come and see me.
We have your cell phone number?
Yeah, you sure can. So I just want to get up here and say that, and I appreciate your guys' time today. Thank you.
Anyone else in the boardroom? Okay, let's move on to Zoom.
Zoom, Monaco Lopez. Would you like to provide testimony this afternoon? Reply, and we have Diana Pickernell.
No, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Camilla, thank you. Julie Miller.
I guess
Julie, would
she
you like
unmuted,
to?
and I don't think we could hear her.
Okay. We're receiving no response.
Okay. And no one else in the boardroom? Okay. So then that will conclude public testimony. So now moving on to discussion, and I'm gonna ask Matt, just in case there are any questions that need to be answered. Any items commissioners would like to discuss at this time? We do have a follow-up on this on December 5th at agenda setting. Is that correct?
I'll have to look at the calendar to see when we've scheduled follow-up, but if there is not a separate session set, then yes, we would follow up on that date.
Okay. Commissioner Edwards, go ahead.
I know, I know this issue's been, I don't know, hanging fire for like 20 years anyway, so my question to you would be, is there any reason, are we up against any time frame that we need to get this done by the end of the year, for an example? Are we locked in somehow that I'm not aware of?
I'm not aware of being locked into any timeline.
No, the board had actually directed staff to try to accelerate the timeline, as there had been a timeline proposed, and the board wished for it to actually move faster, and so that's how we actually set the hearing for today, and hopefully a final decision on the 12th.
I've got other questions, but I don't think maybe this evening is the right place to, we'll take up a lot of time, I suppose.
Okay. Any questions?
No questions.
Discussion items?
No, and to clarify, the desire to speed up was because the item had languished in, I think, legal review on our side for an inordinately long time. So it was really out of respect for the negotiations, we'd set a timeline and we hadn't stuck to it. So we were trying to catch up on a timeline we were far behind on. This area of the county has elected a new commissioner under the new districting, and I think we definitely want to engage Commissioner-elect Fournier on this item because he'll be most closely connected to the areas in question. So we should be ready, hopefully, to discuss it on the 12th. Or the 5th. We can discuss it on the 5th and potentially act on the 12th. Okay.
Good afternoon, Jennifer Walker, Public Works Director. I just wanted to point out there is specific language in the agreement and a covenant with the quitclaim deed that I wanted to read. Except I just closed it. I apologize. Thank you. And it specifically states that the covenant that will run in the quitclaim deed with the land is that the tribe herein, on behalf of itself and its heirs, successors, or assigns, covenants and agrees that the above referenced property is transferred for road, street, utility purposes only, and no other use shall be allowed. The tribe covenants that the property shall remain open to the public. Should said property cease to be used for road, street, utility purposes or not remain open to the public, said ownership shall automatically revert to the county, and the tribe, its heirs, successors, or assigns agree to convey by deed the property to the county immediately upon the county's written notice to the tribe. There's a few other items in there, but it's specifically identified, which is similar to what Amy said. It's specifically for the maintenance and operations of the roads that are in existence.
Just one quick follow-up on that. By deed is like actual ownership versus, say, a right-of-way or a lease or something like that.
We're quitclaiming, so it's a quitclaim deed.
Okay, we are gonna quitclaim.
And so it's the county
And so it would-
transferring whatever interest the county has to the tribe.
And if that was ever to be invoked because of any of the things that you said, what would be the process? It would have to be quitclaimed back by the tribe? Is that?
Transferred back, yes.
Transferred back under a quitclaim that would be a clear title that can take a while. I guess that's all I'm wondering about. Is there a mechanism that?
By deed.
Yeah, so the
It's
legal
conveyed by
process of a real estate transaction possibly. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's no further discussion. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll move to close the public hearing.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Okay,
Not at this time.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Minzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay, the public hearing is now closed and we will be having a follow-up discussion on this on December 5th.
Most likely on December 5th at agenda setting.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and take.
What time would
9:15
that be? What time would that hearing that be?
It's during agenda settings, so it's
No, it's a late agenda though. It's 2:00 instead of 9.
9.
It'll be at 9 a.m.
No, it's still in the
Are
morning.
you staying for the next?
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a 10-minute break.
Yeah.
You thought you had interest.
Limits.
Okay, we are back from break. It is 4:32 PM and we are picking up with our agenda for November 28th. We left off on page 5 of 7 with item 6A from Public Works, and this is ordinance to adopt the revised speed limit schedule for various county roads. And Becky Kahn, Traffic Engineering and Operations Manager, will present this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Becky Kahn, Traffic Engineering and Operations Manager with Public Works. Today, I'm here to request the Board of County Commissioners move to approve an ordinance adopting a revised Thurston County speed limit schedule. This will revise the speed limit on 8 different county roads or sections of road and make 57 other administrative changes. The roads included in this revised schedule include Case Extension Road, Gibson Road, Lorraine Drive, Martin Way, Meridian Road, Patsy Drive, Sargent Road, and Union Mills Road. A public hearing was held on November 21st, 2023 to hear public testimony on this subject. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Klaus?
No questions.
Commissioner Edwards?
No question.
Commissioner Menzer?
No questions for staff. I guess I missed the discussion this morning. I guess my questions are for my seatmates. Was there any disagreement about?
I don't think so. We kicked it around a little bit, but yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, we had conversations about the Martin Way corridor and how it switches off. Becky did let us know that when they did the survey, it wasn't during construction time. And so, Becky, I'll let you elaborate on that.
Yeah, so we don't ever conduct any speed studies when there's different things going on the road, like construction or other things like that. So this study on Martin Way was conducted in 2022 before the construction that was referenced at the public hearing. So it would
So
be
let me
accurate.
ask that because when you do this study, can you remind me how long are you looking? 24 hours, a week? How much data are you collecting?
Yeah, so we generally try to run our studies for between 3 days and a week, and we try to get some time during the week and then also over the weekend so we can kind of compare those different levels of traffic and different traffic patterns that happen out on the roads.
It was interesting that one gentleman who was upset about the process, and I think he didn't understand our process because I think we were doing a lot of what he was suggesting, but he was like, you should drive that road, yourself. And it's like, if I drive it, I'm gonna see it one random time.
Yeah.
And I try to not do that because you guys are getting a much broader, I just wanted to make sure I was not wrong about that.
correct.
You're getting a much broader look. If I go look at it, I could draw a completely wrong conclusion.
Right, we're looking at it 24 hours a day, what it does during all the different traffic patterns during rush hour, during non-rush hour time, so we get an accurate look.
Thank you. So are we ready to move forward?
I'll move to approve the ordinance adopting a revised Thurston County speed limit schedule.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer? Aye. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 6B, a right-of-way dedication resolution, Little Rock Road and 113th Avenue, Southwest Bridge and Intersection Improvements Project, CP number 61320. Craig Sisson, Real Estate Services Manager, is here to present this item.
Thank you, Commissioners. I am Craig Sisson, Real Estate Services Manager for Public Works. Public Works will be constructing intersection improvements at Little Rock Road and 113th Avenue Southwest. This project includes the addition of a southbound left turn lane from Little Rock Road to 113th Avenue, the replacement of the L5 bridge over Bloom's Ditch as well. The project will include widening the roadway, relocation of utilities, and infiltration improvements along both sides of the roadway north of Bloom's Ditch, as well as the infiltration improvements west of the 113th Avenue intersection. These improvements will provide a safer, more efficient route for all users of the roadway and improve aquatic life habitat. The project requires the permanent acquisition for right-of-way purposes of 0.351 acres of an existing 1.29 acre Thurston County parcel currently held in stewardship by Public Works. The right-of-way dedication is in alignment with the county's strategic plan and Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Klaus?
No questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
Well, I think I'm gonna go along with this because of that strategic plan we're gonna cover. No, I don't have any questions. You gotta make light of some of this stuff or you get a headache.
Questions, Commissioner Spencer? Okay, I'm ready for a motion, sir.
I move to approve a resolution dedicating right-of-way for the Little Rock Road and 113th Avenue Southwest Bridge and intersection improvements project CP 61320 as outlined in the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. That was a good one.
We've had this kind of an ongoing thing going on here about strategic plan. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Item C is the lease renewal with Kaufman Real Estate LLC. And Ryan Langen, Stormwater Operations Manager, will present this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Ryan Langen, Stormwater Operations Manager with Public Works. The stormwater utility currently leases 1,875 square feet of secure storage space from Kaufman Real Estate at 8024 River Drive, Southwest, Suite 307 in Tumwater. This space has been used since February 1st of 2018 to store vehicles, boats, equipment, and supplies. The choice of this location was made in collaboration with Central Services Facility Manager and the real estate broker, as secure and covered storage was not available within county facilities. The location is conveniently situated approximately 2.5 miles from the Public Works Tilly campus, minimizing travel time for staff. The stormwater utility seeks to renew the lease to maintain our occupancy of this space, extending the expiration date and securing lease rates for a 5-year term through January 31st, 2029. The lease also provides an option for 1 additional 5-year renewal term. The initial monthly rent through January 2025 is a 5.4% increase over current rates, with subsequent annual increases of 3.5%. The proposed rates are reasonable within the market for this type of space. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Klaus?
No questions.
Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Menzer? No questions from me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the lease renewal between Thurston County Stormwater Utility and Kaufman Real Estate LLC and authorize the Director of Public Works to sign the lease.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Klaus? Aye. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you, Ryan. Okay, moving on to our standing items. Item 7A, Commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates on actions taken, as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Klaus, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Okay.
To
Commissioner-
report in the last 4
Three,
hours.
4 hours. Commissioner Edwards?
Mine is not so much. We were at a holiday during this past week, but I did meet fire commissioners. And the one thing I'll report on from my meeting with the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging is one of the bigger issues that seniors are finding themselves in when they are on a limited and fixed income is housing. They just cannot come up with the resources for adequate housing. They've been contributing to our community for many, many, many years, been taxpayers, been making it all work, but they're getting priced out on their very limited income. And a lot of times it doesn't really break until there's a death by one of the spouses, for an example, and then that income is reduced considerably. So that's our major problem that we're dealing with, and hopefully we're going to come up with a solution I think there's only so much room in the lifeboat, and I think these people definitely deserve to be in the lifeboat when the time comes. But we just don't seem to have room, so that's our problem, and that's what we're working on. As far as if I had to come up with the biggest issue that we've got.
Did you talk about the project that Tumwater Housing Authority is working on in Tumwater?
Not specifically, because it's it's really a complete countywide issue. A lot of people are in rental situations and trailer parks. Trailer parks are being purchased by other folks for other activities. They can't afford to move, so not specifically.
Commissioner Menser.
Okay, well, this morning I spent most of the day at the State Building Code Council where we were working on final tweaks to the energy code, residential and commercial codes that have been hung up a little bit because of legal challenges that happened. And we pulled the codes back from their July 1st effective date that was originally scheduled in order to work with legal counsel and our technical advisory groups to find appropriate workarounds to achieve the goals of the code amendments, but not, incur liability because we've run afoul. There was a case in Berkeley, California, where the Ninth Circuit had ruled that what Berkeley had done, which was different than what we had done, but similar enough that our lawyers felt that it was a potential concern, where they had, banned the use of natural gas in new construction, and that ran afoul, the Ninth Circuit said, of EPCA, which is a federal law, and that arguably preempts the area for states to be able to take that kind of a approach. So what we did is we basically created a natural gas pathway so you can use natural gas. It's going to be more difficult to do it. You're going to have to show that it meets the efficiency, one-for-one efficiency of a heat pump, but it doesn't outright ban it, and we believe that gets us around the EPCA preemption argument, and so therefore today we voted to move those changes forward. We're on track for a March 15th, 2024 effective date for those codes.
Can I ask a question in regards to that? Is this where was this the issue? I know that there was a timeline, and you had received public comment from the Firefighters Association in regards to this, not wondering if that, because they had made some trainings for their staff and
Fire, this is a big package, kind of like the budget or the comp plan. It's a big package of codes work, and nobody's worried about the fire code, but it's like it all has to get put out together. It doesn't have to, but there's some really experienced people on the council that say, do not do this on separate timelines, like keep it all as a pack. So unfortunately, the fire code that the firefighters are really anxious to get going on is hung up.
Okay.
So, but hopefully March 15th, we're still hoping that's going to be the effective date for the whole group. So they should be happy that at least today we kept that on track, because there was a real question. There's so many, it's so complicated that we had 2 public hearings, and then today, the first part of the meeting was a work session to discuss public comment, and there was a lot of public comment with a lot of very technical changes, and I was not sure that we could work through those technical changes. Luckily, we have people on the council that are very, technically oriented, so they were able to kind of present a package of responses to the public comment and talk the council through and get us comfortable with passing it. So that was good. Other things I've been working on, still working on the Summit Lake issue. There's going to be a meeting with DNR on Friday, and interim county manager and I met with council. We're going to probably have another follow-up, and I'll report back next week on how that goes. And then docket items are several docket items. I had constituent meetings and staff meeting on the forestry. That's kind of what I worked on since the last meeting.
Can I ask an update on with the DNR conversation? I saw that they approved Jefferson County, they approved them for, I believe it was around 600 to 700 acres. I don't remember how much acreage to go into this, the new program. They were one of the first counties who got approved.
Swapping.
Yeah, wondering if you could ask them, I know that we submitted properties for consideration on, to go on that, and just wondering if we're
Yeah,
gonna hear back from them or.
There might be an opportunity to ask that question. If I have the right
Yeah,
people. I don't know exactly who we're going to be sitting across the table from, but, and Commissioner Klaus, this relates to a situation where you might have heard a lot of commissioner action on legacy forests, but that's not what this is. This was DNR going to clear cut an area that wasn't legacy forest, but it was directly above the neighborhoods around Summit Lake. And we've had multiple toxic algae closures in Summit Lake. It's the only lake where the residents drink from the lake. We've been fighting public health. They've already had flooding damage because of previous clear cutting. And so when we learned that they were going to clear cut the areas, the residents came to me and I asked staff to give me an opinion about whether they thought there was real issues about water quality, property damage, all these different environmental concerns. Staff said, yeah, they really thought there were. So we challenged the DNRs. They said it'll be determination non-significance, I think they call it, or whatever they call that. We challenged that, which is a kind of an administrative law. And then DNR said, well, they offered sort of some settlement discussions. Do you want to work with us on maybe swapping? Because there's other lands that are under more of a county control called county transfer lands. So the idea is we would swap land. We would swap some of our county transfer land to the west, turn the Summit Lake area into county transfer, and then reconvey it back to and so then we would take control of it. And we have to do that, but it's very complex because it's kind of like a two-part like you have to survey the land and appraise the land and figure out equal value and then do the legal documents that change, because all the beneficiaries that get earnings from the cutting of those trees have to be swapped over so that they're made whole. And then there's a reconveyance process where the county has to show that it's going to provide some kind of public access for the land. And so we're just working through the details of that. We're hopeful that we'll get it all done, but there's a lot of unanswered questions at this point. So the board authorized me, because it's my district, to represent the county with lawyers, with DNR and their lawyers on the details.
Okay.
And the idea is to protect Summit Lake itself and the residents and property owners around Summit Lake from effects. We don't agree with DNR about the ill effects of their cutting practices. So that's all background on that, and I'll report back next week.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Look forward to hearing, and hopefully we hear some positive news. Okay, and for me, I've been attending several canvassing board meetings, and then of course the swearing in today. And then in terms of constituent issues, it's been in regards to lake management districts and Pattison Lake. Okay. Next. The county manager will review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of November 28th, 2023. Just as an FYI, I do have a dentist appointment tomorrow morning, so I might not be here for the climate mitigation plan implementation or the conservation features application. I will try to catch those via Zoom. I'll try to join via Zoom, but not sure where in the process I will be.
Thank you, Commissioner. So for the upcoming schedule, this is the schedule that is currently on your joint agenda. At least 3 commissioners' calendars going forward, but I think we do still have a few items on here that only 2 will attend. So on Wednesday, November 29th at 9 a.m., we have the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan Implementation Update. At 10 a.m., the Conservation Futures Applications, Round 2. At 10:30, the Treatment Sales Tax TST Community Grant Award Recommendations. And at 1 o'clock, the A25 Forest Land Conservation Code Update Follow-Up. On Thursday, November 30th, beginning at 9 a.m., going until 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
Robin?
you have yes, sir.
Could I ask a clarification question on that one?
You can
On
ask.
on the one at Forest Land Conversion Code update follow-up, does that tie in with what you were just talking about?
No.
Oh, this is that this is a docket item about forest conversion policy change. We had like a really short session on
30
it.
minutes,
and
yeah.
It was like nowhere near adequate, so this is kind of more information about what that's all about. We didn't even get halfway through it. I've actually had a follow-up with staff privately just because I wanted to get more information about what it's about. So now I kind of know, but the board needs to hear it.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Again, Thursday morning at 9 a.m. And for the most of the day is a commissioner's planning session. You have many topics on that agenda. Then at 3:30 on Thursday afternoon, 2 commissioners will be attending the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization, or the TMBH-ASO Governing Board Special Meeting. Nothing on your shared agenda for Friday, December 1st. Moving to next week, we launch into the budget hearings. However, in the morning on Monday, December 4th at 9 a.m., there is a shoreline master plan update briefing. And at 11 o'clock, the sheriff has requested to meet with the board regarding a jail update. At noon on Monday, you have Kiwanis and a WASAC, which is the Washington State Association of Counties, meetings via Zoom. Should 2 or more, 3 or more now, choose to attend either of those, they are on your master calendar. Then beginning at 1:30, you have budget hearings. From 1:30 to 4 o'clock is the budget hearing on law and justice, which includes the clerk, the coroner, district court, and pretrial services. At 4 o'clock on Monday is the budget hearing on general government, which includes the assessor, the auditor, the treasurer, and commissioners. These must be truncated because there's more law and justice. Law and justice should also have Superior Court, the sheriff. So there are more agencies than are listed on this particular version of the
And I just
master
want,
calendar.
ma'am, I just want to make sure that the chair knows I'm probably going to be about a half hour late at that particular 1:30 meeting. I've got a prior commitment. So.
Thank you, that helped a lot. So the budget hearing on the afternoon of Monday, the 4th at 1:30 includes the clerk, the coroner, district court, pretrial services, the prosecutor, the sheriff, superior and juvenile court, and public defense is probably that last one, thank you. In the afternoon at 4 o'clock, the budget hearings are for, again, general government, which includes the assessor, the auditor, commissioners, the treasurer, human resources, central services, and information technology. At 6 o'clock is a public hearing that is general, but will include an update to the capital improvement program and open hearing for any purpose that a citizen would want to comment on the budget. Then Tuesday, December 5th, you begin the morning at 7 a.m. with a legislative breakfast. Then at 9:15, we have agenda setting on December 5th. At 1:30, the budget hearings continue, starting on Tuesday with the transportation, environmental, and land use, which includes community planning and economic development and public works. Then at 2:30, you have a hearing on health and human services, which includes public health and social services and emergency services. At 3:30 is the public hearing for proposed revenue and rate increases for the Lake Lawrence Management District, number 22. Also at 3:30 is a public hearing on a proposed resolution. Yeah, I don't know what this one, adjusting Thurston County water and sewer utility rates and charges. And at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, December 5th, is the public hearing on revenue to support the budget, including the property tax levy. Then at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, again, is an open time on any topic that the public should want to comment on regarding the budget.
That's not on the calendar.
The 6 o'clock, it is on my,
It's not on mine.
it's not on yours, so we will follow up and see why this is not on our individual calendars. It should be.
Let me ask you one other question on that day. Did you mention the legislative breakfast?
I did, that's at 7 a.m. on Tuesday.
Okay, now when is that expected to be over? 9?
It is from 7 to 9.
Okay, thank you.
An event that is going to be impacted by that hearing I didn't know about, that might need to be on the master calendar at Tumwater City Hall at 6:30. So just FYI.
You may have a conflict.
It's like the send off for Charlie Schneider.
Well, I had the multi-care emergency lacy ribbon cutting ceremony. That one's at 5. And then the 6th is the North Thurston Public School Board members for Graham Sackerson. Their goodbye.
Good thing we have 5 commissioners. Be a lot of places that night.
We'll need at least 2 of you to be here for the public hearing on the budget. All right.
At least 3.
Yeah, well, 3 would be preferable, but I think you can take comment if there's at least 2. All right, so Wednesday, December 6th, at 9:15 to 3:30, you have final budget deliberations. And then at 3:30 is the industrial land use study overview. And on Thursday, December 7th, from 7 a.m. to 4 o'clock, we'll be at the Regional Economic Forecast and Innovation Expo. And that is at the Great Wolf Lodge, which is 20500 Old Highway 99 Southwest in Centralia.
When is that?
That is Thursday, December 7th from 7 to 4.
Maybe it's just my calendar that's not updated, but I'm seeing the Growth Management Act.
Those, there had been meetings scheduled at 1 o'clock on the Growth Management Act and at 2 o'clock at TRPC. Both of those are being rescheduled because we will be at the economic forecast.
Mine doesn't have anything on,
I apologize, commissioners. We'll have to look and see what's going on with the calendar. As you know, we've had technology challenges with that.
gee. Hopefully we'll get it squared away. Thank you.
Yep.
So that's it? That's all we got to do?
Yeah, that's all. Nothing on Friday, December 8th. And then after that, we will be back the next week to pick it up and do even more.
Okay, we've reached the end of our agenda. It is 5:02 PM. We're adjourned. Thank you.